can. All right. And we are live. So hello, everyone. This is going to be Senate Session 14 for the Student Government Association here at IIT. Roll call. Ben, are we at quorum?
We have 13 voting members here, and that is quorum at the moment.
Perfect, perfect, which means we can actually make decisions tonight, which is lovely. So we have a fairly busy schedule so far with 3 different student organizations which are coming up for proposal. We have the Architectos Club, apologies if I'm mispronouncing, the Frisbee Club, and the Mountain Movers Club. Other than that, we just have our weekly reports and then open floor when anyone may speak. We are going to stick to a 5-minute schedule per each section. So 5 minutes for just, the summary and introduction by the club, 5 minutes for Q&A unless extended, and then 5 minutes for discussion afterwards. So Architectos, are you here? Feel free to unmute yourselves.
Hi, yes, we're here. It's actually Arquitectos, no Arquitecos.
Architectos, correct?
Yeah, that.
Sorry about that.
You're fine.
Do you have a presentation that you would like to share your screen?
Yes, I would.
Okay, got it. Go ahead. You should have the ability to share your screen.
All right, so this is Arquitectos. We have a professional chapter actually in Chicago, and we decided to bring it back to IIT. It is to my understanding that this chapter was here, but it died a few years ago. So we want to bring it back. Here's our mission and our vision. Our mission is this Architectos is a community of inclusive students that provides mentorship and community assistance to architecture students, helping them build meaningful connections and professional development through different cultural views and practices. And for our vision, our goal as Architectos is to engage, encourage, and nurture professional relationships between student body and professional field. IIT chapter of Architectos focuses on bridging the gap of students to transition from the educational setting into the professional realm. As an organization, we will provide tools for growth as well as an empowering setting to promote dialogue and professional development. Some of the benefits that come along with the membership of Architectos is professional development from an early stage and exposure to different aspects of the built environment, as well as preparing students for their transitional roles into the field of architecture after graduation. And through the membership of Architectos, students will be exposed to work opportunities here, but also having context to have opportunities to work abroad and expand their horizons. Also, we aim to aid the international students with more tools. Well, the tools that are necessary to understand different immigration policies if they seek to work here in the United States. And how are we different? This organization has the purpose to of serving minorities in architecture, to find individual mentorship with an end goal of helping students grow in their professional and personal life. The organization will have a series of opportunities to showcase Latinos architects in the field and help minorities with tools to seek opportunities after graduation, as mentioned before. Our main focus is to be an inclusive group of students that focuses on the Latinx architecture students and Latinx architecture as a whole. We will provide a space to challenge and learn about architecture in Latin America, while also helping Latinx communities here in Chicago. As far as the recruitment, with the help of the College of Architecture here in IIT, we'll start the approach by emails. We also have a very good relationship so far with the Dean of the College of Architecture. And then, whoops, sorry, my bad. There we go. Also asking students in the organizations here at the College of Architecture to help us recruit more people, since something that we really want in this college is to cross-reference our students and all collaborate with the other organizations that we have, very different as landscape or I guess there's other like nomads here. And then mainly with professors. Most of us are TAs too. This is the board right now as we have it. I am the president, Carolina. We have a president, vice president who should be here, Miguel. Our treasurer, Camila. Then we have two secretaries. One is an undergrad and one is in grad. We have communications, Gerardo, events, Juliana, and then social media, we have Sofia. Here are some of our main events. We wouldn't call it an event, but it is an opportunity that we have here, a program, the mentorship program. We will create a list, and we already have it, a list of architects here in Chicago willing to be active mentors to the organization members, with the end goal to help students find their career path. And even if they have any questions regarding career, they could just privately contact them. We also have coffee with a guest speaker. It's a casual sit down to talk about relevant topics in the industry, with the end goal to help students become better professionals and have Q&A about the path that they have ahead. Guest speakers might include architects, immigration attorneys, and designers from different backgrounds.
Just letting you know, you have about a minute left.
Sounds good. Well, then we have other lectures, understanding Latin America, and then we have some Latino nights as events. Latino nights will be more of a fundraising event for us. Here's a list of the interested students, and then we have the potential, the estimated budget of gaining some money with the membership fees, fundraising, some university support, and our expenses. And here's a more detailed budget. If you want me to go over it, or if you have any questions, let me know. We did change some, just a little tweaks here and there after we got the Senate hearing.
All right, perfect. So if you're done, then we can open up for a 5-minute questioning period. If you have a question, you can raise your hand and then I will acknowledge you and you can unmute and talk. One person at a time, effectively. Derek.
Hi, first off, I want to say thank you for that very detailed presentation. I find your org very intriguing. One quick question I did have, you mentioned at the start that Arquitectos was previously an organization at IIT and that it was disbanded. I was wondering if you could provide further context as to what caused it to disband in the first place and what you'll do to try to keep that from happening again.
Well, nobody really knows what happened. I think what happened is like the class graduated, and with COVID and everything, it didn't continue. And then what would I do I'm already part of the professional chapter, and I'm also a TA for first year, and I have most of my students on board. So it's really heavily recruiting, and we have great opportunities that we mentioned in our events and programs that the other organizations here in the College of Architecture don't have.
Awesome, thank you.
Do we have any other questions? I'm going to give it just a few more seconds. Yeah, we can probably move on to our discussion period. So thank you for that presentation. We're now going to move into the Senate discussion. Anyone who is a part of Architectos, again, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I don't know why, but that word just does not work with my brain. I'm going to move you into a waiting room. Let's see. Carolina's already moved out. Are there any other members who are currently in the room still?
Yes.
If
Gotcha.
you would just raise your hand, it does make it a little easier to find you.
Yes. Okay. Are there any others? All right, doesn't look like it. Okay, we can open up for our 5-minute discussion period. If you have something to say, just raise your hand and you can say it. Nova.
Thank you. So maybe I missed it, but I'm just gonna go from what I saw because I was gone for a minute. So anyone want to respond, correct me. They have a total expenditure of $24,000, which I mean, a lot. And they reference for their income a fundraising of 24,400 with a total expenditure of 24,300. I think unless they gave a specific outline of how they expect to get that much fundraising, I think that's quite a lot to expect from the student activity fund. And for a club that only has an interest of 20 students, I think that's asking a bit much. So unless anyone has wants to correct me on like how they said fundraising, I'm going to vote nay.
Derek. Thank you for that comment, Nova.
I don't have anything. I'm sorry. I just hit it back.
Gotcha. Does anyone else have any other comments? Nabiha.
Okay, so I actually agree with Nova on this. I think the money is a little bit too much, not towards the 22,000. I think I saw the coffee night and I was kind of confused because like I understand they want to do 9 days per year, but I feel like still a little bit too much money because they could honestly like get a little bit less, a little bit like reduce a little bit more than they could have just for coffee and donuts or bagels, something like that. On the other hand, I do like this club. I think it's a great opportunity. Also, it reminds me of SHIP, which is also Society of Hispanic Engineers. So I understand if there's a need for Latinx architecture students club. So I recommend that. I really like it. I just think their budget should like reduce a little bit. I think we should worry about the budget a little bit more.
All right. Nova, you have a
Yeah. I'll just second on Nabiha's comment as well. Yeah, I think this club is a great idea. If they send back us a proposal in a week or two that revise the budget so that it's not $20,000, I think that'd be a lot more reasonable. But as it stands, that budget is insane demand compared to all of the clubs we've passed this semester. So yeah, again, just voting nay, but I would love to see it back here again.
Okay, got it. Are there any other comments which people wish to field? Derek.
Oh, okay. So yes, I do actually have something to say. I will actually kind of want to give the organization the benefit of the doubt. I do find it hard to believe that they're going to manage to fundraise $24,000. I don't think that's actually going to happen, but that doesn't mean they don't that they won't necessarily host, good events on our campus that kind of go towards our own goals within the SGA and within the student community. I'm willing to give them the shot. I have enough trust in finance board to make sure they don't just hand over $24,000 for some trips. But yeah, I'm still inclined to vote yes, because I think in general they're pretty organized and ambitious, and This is probably the most organized proposal I've seen from a student org in a while.
Got it. Oh, Naeem, I did not see that you had a question. Sorry, are you done, Derek?
Yes, I am.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry, am I exceeding our discussion time?
No, you're perfectly fine.
Okay, I just wanted to ask really quickly that I know, at least in the past, when it comes to issues regarding the budget, aren't we allowed to usually pass on the condition that finance board would iron out those details? Or am I mistaken?
My memory does. There is that. Ben pointed out in the chat that first year organizations are restricted to $4,000 per semester. And I believe that we can also make motions for tentative approval or like conditional approval, if I'm understanding correctly. And with that, we are up on our discussion time, unless there is a motion to extend. Nova, are you wanting to make that motion?
No, I would like to move to table discussion on this bill to a further date.
To table or to vote?
I object to that motion.
All right.
I object to that motion on the grounds that we should be able to take a vote tonight and provide feedback on the organization more directly.
All right. I don't think I've ever seen this case before. Gotcha.
Second the objection or the motion?
The motion does require a second. Nova's motion requires a second, but now that there is an objection, the Senate is supposed to vote on it.
Okay, got it.
To vote whether or not we're gonna vote to table.
Can I get a quick like yes or no in the reactions channel? It might be, yeah, just a quick yes or no.
To clarify, what is yes and what is no?
In this case, yes would be to vote on tabling the motion, whereas no would be to not vote on tabling the motion. So it's whether we want to vote to table the organization for however amount of time. The time was not given in the motion. So as another point of clarification, yeah, exactly. If we, yep. Okay. All right, can I have a few more reactions? Thinking through some. Okay, got it. Okay, yeah, the chair is not in doubt. The motion fails. Is there a motion to vote on?
I move to
student
approve
organization?
Architectos.
Gotcha. Thank you, Derek. And there's a second from Jason. Ben, could you release the voting forum in that case onto the Slack? And we'll move on to the next student organization. I'm just moving everyone back to the room. All right, hi guys. The senators and voting members are currently voting on your student organization. The results of that vote I will send to you in an email by tomorrow morning. Likely that voting forum will close out at the end of open floor at this meeting. You don't have to stay. You do not have to stay for the rest of this meeting if you don't want to. That is entirely up to you. So yeah, we're going to move on to the second student organization proposal that we have tonight. So we have a proposal
Thank you so
from,
much. Bye-bye.
sorry, Carolyn or Caroline?
Thank you so much for your time.
Got it. You're
All right,
welcome.
bye.
Thanks for presenting. It was a really nice presentation. All right. So the second student organization we are seeing tonight is Frisbee Club. Is there a representative from Frisbee Club here?
Yes.
All right. Do you have a presentation that you would like to show?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to stop sharing and you should be able to share your presentation.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
So hi, I'm the president of Frisbee Club, and I have a short little video that I'd like to show you guys.
I don't believe we can hear sound.
Yeah, it's supposed to be muted.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
I agree with the Biha.
So what you just saw was a little example of what Ultimate Frisbee is. Okay, so Ultimate Frisbee is basically a sport. It's like a disc sport. So instead of having a regular sport where it's like you play with a ball or a with a ball like football or basketball, Ultimate Frisbee is basically you throw a frisbee on a field. This sport is completely different from basketball, football, all those basic sports. And you might ask why? Because Ultimate Frisbee is basically combined with two teams. Each team has 7 and there's 2 end field goals, similar to football. But instead of having contact in football, this is a completely non-contact sport. That means that the game is basically played in the spirit of the game, which means that the players who play on the team self-officiate the game. That is really unique and no other sport really does that. Ultimate Frisbee also combines basketball or is not like basketball because in basketball you can dribble the ball and walk around. Unlike in Frisbee, you have to stand in one place and just throw the Frisbee to advance to one side of the goal. The whole reasoning behind the club is I want to create a club for IIT as the first club sport. One thing I noticed on my first semester here on campus is IIT doesn't really have club sports. And for me, I was an athlete in high school. So in coming into college, I still wanted to play a sport. IIT does have intramurals, but those are not as competitive as a club sport would be. Other traditional colleges also have club sports, which I feel like would be really efficient to have at on IIT's campus. So how the club would work is Ultimate Frisbee has a governing body, which is called USA Ultimate. To have our team sign up in the league, they would have to get a membership of $65 for the first time. And that team, so after a team manager puts the team into the system, a school register will have to verify the roster for the team. And after further processing of the team is allowed to play in the USA Ultimate tournament. Currently, I have contacted USA Ultimate and they're planning on starting a spring season this semester. And due to the time constraints and everything, They said that around March 26th is when they'll start the season, which is plenty of time to start a new team.
You have about a minute remaining, by the way.
Okay. Some recruiting events that I have planned for the club are Toss in the Snow. So we live in Chicago, and right now, if you go outside, there's plenty of snow on the ground. Having that and using that to play Frisbee is really unique. Everyone's played Frisbee before. You go out on the beach and you toss around with your friends or anywhere. Even on campus, I've seen a couple of people throw Frisbee during the fall. So I thought having this new club could really benefit IIT's campus. And it could benefit the campus because many people love playing Frisbee, and in this sport, it's a new type of Frisbee because it's competitive and people haven't seen that before. One thing it's different about other sports or clubs at IIT is that other clubs aren't as competitive or aren't as a club sport like Ultimate Frisbee would be. And my main goal is to create a safe space for everyone. I played Frisbee in high school and I loved it. And I'm pretty sure all the students at IIT would be too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, the introduction time is up and we will be moving into our Q&A session. If you have a question which you would like to be answered, please raise your hand. You know the whole shebang. We just did this a couple minutes ago. Does anyone have a question? Jason, looks like you have a question.
Yeah, I might have missed it, but I know you mentioned that there's not really that big of a rec league presence in all like Keating, but have you approached them about your club and incorporating it within their intramural leagues at all? I don't know if I missed that at all.
So I haven't really done that because I have a reasoning behind it. I don't want to create an intramural sport because in an intramural sport, you just compete against other teams that are brought up by IIT students. I want to create a team where we have a competitive spirit and we play against other colleges in the city. So I know UIC has a Ultimate Frisbee team. A lot of other colleges in the city do also. So having that benefit of being in the city and not worrying about transportation, I wanted to create a club where instead of playing inside the IIT community, we go outside and play.
All right. Are there any other questions? I'll give it a couple more seconds. Do, 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 do. All right, looks like we don't have any other questions, so we can move on to our discussion period. In which case I'm going to move you into a waiting room. I think KJ was the only person here. Are there any other representatives of Frisbee Club here? Looks like not, in which case, if you have a comment or would like to discuss something, raise your hand and I will let you know. So does anyone have any comments, questions? Jason.
Just a query. I know I was interested with some of my friends in starting a Ultimate Frisbee club, but there was like a rumor that it was disbanded maybe a year or two before I got in. But I was just curious if anybody had any history on when the first Ultimate Frisbee club was around, if at all.
Speaking as probably the longest one here. I can't say I have any knowledge of a previous Frisbee club. I have no doubt that we previously had them, but I can't speak to their success or anything of that nature.
And also Rachel made a comment in the chat of she does not have it as a current org fund, and she has old funds which go back around 5 years. So it probably hasn't been a club within 5 years. Are there any other comments, questions, concern? Ah, got it. Derek.
I'll speak again. I think they're a good organization. You know, they're not requesting that much money. I think they have some good aims. Wouldn't hurt to have IIT collect a trophy or two sometime in the long run if they're competing at, you know, regional competitions. You know, if they start getting good, we can give them a little more money. They can go to bigger competitions. You know, I'm excited to see where they go.
All right, thank you for that. Nova, you have a comment?
Yes, I do. I would just like to short comment, second the sentiment by the previous senator. I think this is a great club, very cheap, and I know from personal experience that there can be a demand for ultimate frisbee. So I would just like to publicly express my support for the Frisbee Club.
All right, all right. Do we have any other comments? And we have about a minute left on discussion, by the way. However, if no one raises their hand, all right. Do we have a motion to call the previous question?
I move to call the previous question.
So seconded.
Gotcha. All right, we can move into the voting period. Ben, you can go ahead and release the voting form. And I'll bring them all back in here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. All right. So as before, the voting results should get in by the end of this meeting. And I will email you guys personally. You don't have to stay if you don't want to. Always up to you. So we're going to move on. Yeah, of course. Here is our third and final student organization proposal of tonight from Mountain Movers. Are you guys, is there a representative here?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Hello, do you have a presentation to share?
Yes, I have a PowerPoint.
All right, got it. Go ahead and share it.
Okay. Can you guys see the slides?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. My name is Elsa. I'm currently a law student at IIT, and I wanted to introduce our student org. It's called Mountain Movers. So our mission statement is we're a non-denominational Christian organization with a holistic focus on both mental and physical health to aid our spiritual pursuit. And I think we'll see more as we move through the slides, but I just wanted to say at the outset that what sets us apart from other Christian religious works here at IIT is really a more holistic view. We want to emphasize self-care, both mentally and physically, as a way to help our spiritual growth. So this slide is just a little bit on who we are. As you can see, you know, we come from kind of different backgrounds in different places. Two of us are in law school, two are in undergrad, one's a PhD. And, you know, kind of how our club idea came to be. The group of us were brought together because of our faith. But, you know, because of the pandemic, we watched a lot of our friends struggle with different things, you know, physical health, mental health, depression, or, you know, feelings of anxiety. And we realized that we wanted to form a Christian student org that could really meet all of their needs. So this slide is a little bit about where our inspiration came from. Actually, there's a verse in 1 Thessalonians 5:23. It talks about the three parts of man, our body, our soul, and our spirit. And so the focus of our organization is really, you know, caring for our physical body through exercise and, you know, regular activity, caring for our mental well-being by practicing mindfulness and having meaningful human interactions, and caring for our spiritual well-being by striving to be closer to God, individually and as a group. So this slide is our activities. The first thing that we wanted to do is really organize outings to encourage us to get out and get moving. So this includes hiking, disc golf, biking, possibly even traveling over winter and spring break. And we also have potential winter activities as well. A really key part of our organization would be this next section, the exercise and spiritual pursuit challenges. So these would be carried out in small groups, maybe just 4 or 5 people, and we would use an app to track daily goals that would be like spiritual or physical. And they would be things like, you know, reading the Bible for 20 minutes, or exercising for 20 minutes, or praying for someone. And the small groups can set their own limits and challenges. And, you know, you can keep track of how someone else in your group is doing. And it's really promotes consistency, accountability, and just a sense of community. And the last thing that, you know, we're proposing to have is just large group meetings. And this would just be typical group gatherings. So this slide talks a little bit about just what sets us apart. And we are a Christian, we are proposing to form a Christian faith-based student organization, but we want to do something a little bit different. We don't know of any other religious organizations that, you know, really focus on physical well-being and mental health. And obviously we're not counselors or therapists, but, you know, one thing we've seen in the pandemic is that genuine, meaningful human interactions in a community can help form a support system when we're struggling with anxiety, depression, stress, things like that. And our physical health plays a really big role in that as well. And so by setting up this organization with this model of connecting students in small groups, we really feel like this can make an impact. You know, we're really geared towards forming healthy habits over a long time. And, you know, a lot of times merely signing up for an athletic student org, that's not enough, you know, especially for someone like me, to form a habit of, you know, exercising or something. So, and then lastly, I just wanted to say that one, you know, the core group of students who form this organization, you know, we're all in different places, and some of us are grad students, some of us are law students, some are undergrad. And we really want to focus on keeping the organization like that. We feel like mentorship is really important, and being part of a student org that can do that is really awesome. So this is basically the end. This is our proposed budget. So as you can see, there's a low estimate and a high estimate, and none of our activities are super expensive, and our budgeting is more or less flexible. So we can, you know, we can have volunteers drive to events. Students can pay for their own things at outings and things like that to keep costs down. But I think our thought is that, you know, our budget would grow as our club grows. And, you know, to start, you know, we wouldn't really need a lot. And I think, yeah, I think that's it that's all I have. Thank you very much.
All right, perfect. You had about a minute left. I was just about to let you know. With that, we're going to move on to our Q&A period. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. If anyone has a question, you can go ahead and just raise your hand. Any questions? Jason.
Yeah, thank you again. Great presentation. But I'm not sure if you're aware, but there are some other religious organizations on campus that are Christian, such as Crew, as well as the Catholic Ministry. So I guess how will your messages be different than theirs? And then do you also plan on maybe doing any collaborations with them in the future?
Yeah, I would say we're definitely open to collaborations. And, I think really what I pointed out in the slides is just, I feel like we really want a different focus. Not so much that, I think from a religious perspective that any of our philosophies are different or that our thoughts are different, but, I think a focus on physical well-being and self-care and just, good mental health. And I think, a lot of the other Christian organizations don't really have that kind of focus. And I think the other thing is like accountability and community and, having a community where you can form healthy habits. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks. Are there any other questions? Rachel asked a question in the chat slightly before Nova. She asked, would you be willing to work with orgs that focus on mental health and collaborate?
I would say absolutely. Like we mentioned, like none of us are, mental health counselors, and I think we can only do so much. And, I think certainly if a member had very serious issues, like that's not something that we can handle. But yeah, but I think just having that kind of focus, we would so be down to collaborate and, have input from other groups.
All right. And then Nova, you have a question?
Unless there are any objections, I'd like to move to discussion.
Do we have a second? Do we have a second for that motion? Got it. Thank you, Isaiah and Derek. All right, we're going to move into discussion. You know the whole shebang. I'm going to move you into a waiting room temporarily. All right, are there any other representatives of mountain movers present tonight? I will take that as a no. In which case, are there any discussion points or anything anyone would like to say? Derek.
Yeah, I'd say this organization seems pretty well organized and they are very purpose driven. So I definitely appreciate that about them. I think that they're addressing an important issue on our campus, especially as it pertains to mental health, even if it is coming from like a religious perspective. There's, there may be people that works pretty well for them, especially given their willingness to work with other student organizations and collaborate. And I especially appreciated the fact that they're willing to engage with graduate students. It seems like it's a good solid mixture between undergraduate and graduate students, also including some law students. And we're always looking to better integrate the law school with our campus. So yeah, I think in general, sounds like a pretty good organization and they definitely have my support.
All right, thank you, Derek. Nova in the comments, I'm seconding Senator Derek's sentiment and I am expressing my support. Are there any other comments? Considering I'm not seeing any other comments, do I have a motion to vote or to move
So
the previous
moved.
question? All right, do I have a second? Thank you, Naeem. With that, Ben, you can release the voting form and I'm going to bring them back in. All right, so the senators should be voting here pretty soon. Regardless, same story. I will send you an email by tomorrow morning with your results. If you want to stick around, you can. But yeah, other than that, thank you for a wonderful proposal.
Thank you.
Next, we are going to move on to executive reports. Seems like no one else before the president has anything to say. So Ben, if you would like to say what you have to update us on.
Yeah. So we have keys. Can you hear me? I never know. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
I can.
So we have keys finally for the new office. So hopefully we'll be starting the process of moving over to the new office this weekend. So if you're available from about 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. this Saturday to help us go through all the stuff we have in the old office, we'd very much appreciate the help. More constitution discussion meetings are coming. We talked about those. We talked about the Constitution this past Saturday for about 3 hours. It was a really productive discussion. There's probably going to be a new Slack channel started over it. Future discussions will be shorter. We are not going to try to do marathon 3 hour sessions every time. They will also likely not be fed. So if you miss pizza this first time around, sorry about that. So we will be getting a room reservation soon, so watch out for those announcements. Exact vacancies. If you or someone you know is interested in spending a month as the VP of events or the VP of comms, or you are interested in being the executive assistant, please let us know ASAP because we need help. So if you know anyone interested, let us know. And finally, Candygrams is ongoing. If you have time tomorrow during lunch to help us sell Candygrams, we need a volunteer. Also for Friday. So far, it's going good. Sales are higher than I anticipated, so that's been fantastic. And I think that's all I've got.
Perfect. Thank you for your update, Ben. Rachel in the chat just said to those members on the exec board who still need a key, you can pick it up from her and drop off your old one. So moving on, we're going to be hearing from Rachel from the campus administration.
Hey everyone, really quickly, career fairs are coming soon. We have 9 career fairs this semester. So career services has really bumped it up. And you may have seen today, we are having bridge events as well, where companies really want to get more face time with students. So they're going to be on the bridge this week and next week. And honestly, a lot of them want to come back. So look for that throughout the semester. If you're looking for a position or if you just want to practice networking. So those are the companies on the bridge. Also, Spirit Week is coming very soon. It's going to be March 7th to March 11th. Expect the kind of calendar of what's happening in the near future. Very exciting. Go Running IIT is going to do the Pi K again. So the 3.14 mile run. Get excited. I think we're going to try to get a group of students to run together in the morning if you want to be part of it. And again, I got some sweet medals. They have a pie on them, so get excited for those. We are also working to do pie in the face for professors. So if you have a professor that you want a pie in the face, send me an email and I will ask them to come to get pied in the face. And then we will donate the money to charity of your choice. We will vote on it. And we will also be inviting back Justice of the Pies, which is a Black-owned business on the South Side. We had them in last year, and they had awesome pies. So we will have those in the comments during the week. You see a call out for Professor Bauer. Remember, there are 2 Matt Bowers at the university, if you didn't know. So specify which one it is. Saley is good too. So send me those emails. I will reach out to those professors. We're deciding if we're going to do that on Thursday or Friday based on professor schedules. And hopefully that'll be at lunch. I have already gotten all the tins and the whipped cream ordered. So get excited. And honestly, you can pie me in the face too. I'm okay with that as well. All right. Throw it back to you. Great job, Joel, today.
All right, thank you. So Next, I was told that there was going to be a report from the Executive Elections Committee. So,
Yes. Hi, everyone. So you all may or may not be aware, but if you are intending to run for an executive board position next year, you have to be nominated and confirmed as a candidate for the elections, and nominations end tonight at 11:59 p.m. And if you nominate somebody tonight, they have until Friday to accept it, and I'll reach out to everyone first thing in the morning if there are any last minute nominations. So that being said, if you want to run, make sure you do so or nominate somebody else. We are a little short on candidates as compared to previous years. So just please send in any nominations for anybody you think would be a good fit, and we will do the rest. For future election scheduling, candidates, please keep an eye out. You have to accept your nomination by this Friday. If you do not, you will not be on the ballot. And then any additional documentation, including candidate biographies and the acknowledgement statement, is due this Sunday at 11:59. That being said, also debates are taking place on February 28th and March 1st at 12:45. I believe it's in the banquet hall. It might be in the auditorium. I can't remember which one it was, but in MTCC, one of those two rooms on both those days, we will have debates. And then finally, elections will take place on March 2nd, starting at midnight into 7 p.m. Results will be announced here in Senate, hopefully in person. So that's it. Please make sure you nominate yourself, somebody else. If you have questions about the positions, I'm happy to answer them. We are very, very flexible. So just make sure we get those nominations in. Thanks, guys.
thank you. And next, we should have any senator reports. So are there any senators who would like to update us with some project or something that they realized over the past couple days? Naeem.
Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to give a report that that RHA did have their most recent meeting on this Monday, the 7th. So while we didn't get a chance to interact with OCL directly, it was still a good meeting. We had a great amount of attendance, and we are planning and have finally gotten the reservation in with OCL, for our first in-person RHA event and really first in-person meeting in almost 2 years. So this is the first in-person meeting we will have had since before the pandemic, and it's super exciting that we're finally getting this off the ground. So we will, and flyers are going to be made. And the food reservation still needs to be put in, but we're planning to have essentially an event, and it's going to include the meeting as part of it, and the meeting will also be available in a hybrid fashion. So those who are present can, of course, attend the meeting in person, but we've learned that a lot of our residents do enjoy the flexibility, since it is a later meeting, of being able to be in their residence halls at the time. So we're going to offer that flexibility to them so that they can meet remotely as well. Overall, we're excited. We've already got a presentation lined up with wonderful SIG app, a couple of members who are here, not including myself, to engage our residents academically and professionally from their dorm room. So we are just super excited. It's going to be 2 Mondays from now, the Monday after next. So stay tuned for information.
All right, thank you for that lovely report, Naeem. I'm glad RHA is becoming a thriving organization. Nova, you have the floor.
Thank you. So I guess just to start, I am currently co-authored in 2 bills that we have in the Senate legislative comments on the Slack. If you have any suggestions, especially in terms of structure or professionality, that would be greatly appreciated. We hope to present, I hope to have both of those bills presented by next meeting. Furthermore, I'll just say a few things. We did have a food advisory board meeting yesterday, and we talked about a bunch of stuff, but just to get over 2 big points that I think are pretty awesome. Our food advisory board, Chartwell, has invested $8,000 into halal equipment, and this is kind of supporting their very recent push to make sure that their halal food is properly documented and make sure that there's no potential cross cross-contamination. So this $8,000 went to cutting boards, pots, and pans just to ensure that there is no cross-contamination with non-halal food. And furthermore, Chartwell has approved new menus. They're in the works right now, but they're designing better trays of 12 and 24 for catering for events. So stuff that has been popular in the past and been in demand. If you're a club or an organization that is looking for catering with Chartwell, they're about to have a new menu, and could be something in there for any orgs and clubs. Other than that, there's a bunch of other things, but I'll be talking about that in Student Life Committee. So Student Life Committee, prepare to have a lot from me. Thank you.
All right. All right, are there any other senator reports? All right, if there's none, we can move on to open floor. Does anyone have anything for open floor?
Hi. I want to say something.
Okay, Nabiha, go right on ahead.
So I don't know if anyone noticed over on MTCC Bridge, I'm the public relations managers of Engineers Without Borders, and we're still hosting a Valentine's Day fundraiser. And this Valentine's Day fundraiser is basically we are selling gifts that you could send to a loved one, a friend, or even yourself. And these gifts are like little jars with lots of candy and a rose on top. So when you open it, you see that beautiful rose, and then you get your little sweet gift. Also, these funds will proceed directly to the Bolivia project. So Engineers Without Borders in Bolivia, especially in the community of Yucca, Bolivia, they have a problem with water waste. And so we are implementing latrines in Bolivia next year. And unfortunately, the travel costs are costly. So in order to mitigate those costs, we decided to host a fundraiser throughout this whole week. Tomorrow and Friday are going to be the last days that we're going to be selling these gifts. And and there's a catch to this. We're personally hand delivering them on Valentine's Day. So we have a Google form. We accept Venmo, Zelle, and cash. We'll be We'll be there tomorrow and Friday during the lunch hour. And yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you, Nabiha. Is there anything else?
I guess I can go ahead and say, also, if anyone's not aware, I believe, let's see, NESB, BSU, and ASO have all published the Black History Month schedule. So that is obviously this month. So definitely stay on the lookout for that. I think we have 3 window panes on the MTCC Bridge this month that are open for people to write quotes on. So definitely stay on the lookout for calendar events and things of that nature. It's all actually been published. So yeah.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Naeem, but I believe also there were posts going up on ITSC associated with that as well.
Yes, Marilyn and others have been doing a good job posting a little known history, Black history in the chat on ITSC. So definitely take a look, because I was frankly fascinated by some of the things I didn't know ahead of before. So yeah, it is really good to see.
All right, thank you, Naeem. And then Jason, you said that you were wanting to go next.
Yep. It's a little bit of open floor and relates to just the upcoming elections as well as nominations. I heard from many of people that they nominated me to run for other exec positions, especially presidency. I wanted to just thank you for your support and thinking of me for the position. However, I just wanted to let everybody know, starting here and then going to the official way of the email, possibly on ITSC, that I will not be running as president just because there's a lot of factors, including mental health. And I believe that I can serve the IIT community like what I have been doing so far, serving as a senator and being a part of a lot of other clubs and being an RA and working in the office of residence life. So I did want to thank you. And secondly, I would like to say that I heard Ben is running again, and I think that he should. And I think I will support him in doing that, especially because a lot of people have been telling me that I would have to run and I would have to fix a lot of the things that have gone wrong so far, as well as the culture and a lot of other things that Naeem has wrapped up quite nicely in the last Senate session. But I believe we all should support Ben and have him and any new exec board, including the current members, go forward and run for another term. So that way these issues can be fixed. And that can show you that Ben is a great leader and that he can fix the culture and fix the SGA. And that is my main piece on this. And I think that this is the best way to show that you are a leader and to show that you can really come from the bottom and back to the top. So I would like to give Ben the opportunity of that, and I will be stepping down. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jason. As EA, I can't speak to Ben's experience, but it's really appreciated when people say like that, when people acknowledge the work that we try to do, even if it doesn't always work. Naeem, you have something you would like to say?
Yes, and I guess I should have said this because I did end last night on a bit of a stern note. If you were in attendance, or I guess you can watch the recording, but do you know, and because I got some notices about it afterward, that you know, that it was not directed at any one person or anything of that nature. You know, it was just really meant to be a call to arms of sorts. That, you know, I think we've lost a bit of our just a bit of our drive and a bit of our mission and focus. You know, these it didn't necessarily just start this year, but I feel as though, you know, this opportunity, a new administration in this upcoming election cycle gives us the chance to start anew and to get back, I think, on course. And, you know, really realizing that the reason we are here is for our student population, for our student body, and that we are here to serve them. We are here. It is a privilege that we are here to serve them. And be great representatives, honestly, on their behalf. So I'm just really super excited. Honestly, I don't want people to think that I'm like upset and angry and tear everyone down or anything. I'm really excited for this upcoming election. I'm on the election committee for a reason, right? We want to make sure everything goes well, and that, you know, we continue moving forward in a positive light. So I do want to end just things on a positive note this meeting, I guess, versus last meeting. So.
Thank you, Naeem. I know it's appreciated. Does anyone else want to say anything? If no one else has anything to say, I actually kind of have something to say. I really should have put this in the exec reports, but I was up at 2 a.m. So there's that. One thing that I'm wanting to do is, this was brought up to me by a senator, is that we really need to get senators back in. No, Naeem, that's when I woke up. I haven't slept until, sorry, distracted. That we need to really get senators engaged with SGA and, well, not really even SGA, engaged with the communities that make up IIT, and that they should be representing them, and that they should be trying to help them in any way that they can. So next week, during probably my executive report, we're probably going to host a discussion about, I guess, inaction, and also how to get you guys more involved. because I really would like to set up the next executive board for a positive trend, exactly like Naeem is talking about. So I'm wanting to start as soon as I can. And I know we have a couple open letters which are coming along the pipeline as well, so you can expect those as well. Other than that, I don't have anything, I don't think, unless something mysteriously comes to me. Are there any other things for open floor? I will take that as a no since no one springed up. With that, do I have a movement for adjournment?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
And with that, we